right, we're back here on the Rich Eisen Show.
I do want to get this started.
Okay. Let's get this man
It's a
started
better
before
program.
it's necessary.
Steve is like, not to compare myself to
Steve
Steve,
Smith
but
Sr.
like,
is here,
with a
everybody.
little
How
bit
you
of an
doing?
edge, you're better, right? When you're on an edge.
Are you better with an edge?
It's like white man can't jump. Like some players play better pissed off and some don't. I think you do.
I'm not a player anymore, so that doesn't do anything.
So
But
let me ask you this: when you were playing, yes,
when I was a player, I would intentionally or manipulate my aggressiveness.
okay.
I would utilize. I knew I was very intimidating, so I would give looks and stares without saying anything. Now, we're doing TV more in the last couple of years too. Obviously, I kind of play off of it a little bit, but a lot of times, even like on the social media stuff, when I was in Cleveland. So the backstory behind Cleveland is, if you go back and look at the video, my eyes are red, like I'm tired. That was Thursday night. I flew to Cleveland Wednesday, but I had landed in Charlotte from Germany that Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I mean that Tuesday night.
Mhm.
So it was Tuesday, slept, got on an airplane, went out there, and so I was extremely exhausted. I was tired. And so when you see him jumping in the background, everybody's like, oh, I know he's dead serious. The truth is, if they would have hit me while I was on camera, I would have played dead and fell out so hard. I probably would have been the first guy to ever get workers' comp on television.
Had the check delivered.
Oh, yes.
On the air.
I would have hit you with the,
My neck, my back.
So I'm very aware of the of how I played and how that works. And so I try to I've utilized that in a negative way too much, and now just more just kind of playing tongue in cheek. But most of the time, I don't mean to say it like that, but I don't want to say I don't really care. I'm not as serious as people think. I'm an overthinker, yes. I'd overthink everything. But I'm actually a really kind of a goofball. I really am.
Steve Smith Sr. Goofball.
I am.
Well, I mean, I've seen that side of you since getting to work with you and getting to know you in that regard. But watching you play, as you just said moments ago, by the way, our terrestrial radio audience has returned. Steve Smith Sr. from NFL Network and so much more here on the Rich Eisen Show. And I'm looking forward to talking to you about NFL's most interesting jobs, which is a show that you're hosting for the NFL's YouTube channel. That when you played, you said you would manipulate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so is that another word for saying manufacture? Is this sort of
No.
Jordan coming up with things that didn't really exist to get him all pissed off so he can go torch the opposition? Did you make stuff up?
First of all, me and Jordan in the same category. Only way that is possible is because I live in North Carolina. Let's go ahead and divide that right now.
I see what you're saying, but I think what I've just put out there is somewhat similar to your mindset of what you're creating.
No, it's not necessarily true, because there are times, right, with Sam Mills going in the Hall of Fame, great job for Sam Mills, well-deserved, the best Carolina Panther ever. I believe the first guy to represent our organization, to go in there. I remember I was having dinner with our former president, who was a good friend, Mark Richardson. And we were having dinner. It was probably about 6-7 months ago. We were having dinner. He was in town, and we were just all rehashing. There was a group of us. We were talking, and he had said something that kind of sparked the conversation. And he goes, "Man, not bad for a punt returner." And I just kind of and I said, "A punt returner," and he rolls his eyes. Oh, here we go. And the reason I'm using that as an example is, in college, I played wide receiver. Who happened to play punt return, and the reason I played punt return and I was capable of playing punt returns is because my dad was a semi-pro. Growing up, 126 Avalon, right down Willowbrook / Magic Johnson Park, my dad was a semi-pro punter and a fullback. And by the age of 9 or 10 years old, I was catching punts. So in Pop Warner, high school, college, I had 10 plus years of expertise of catching punts. And I just did it because I wanted to be around my pop. And so me being a punt returner was the added part. I played wide receiver. I was a wide receiver. Now, scouts didn't want to say that I was maybe a wide receiver that was undersized at a non-respectable school at the time, which is the University of Utah. Because if you go back in 2001, there was another wide receiver who was the same height as me, who happened to play at a school that started with a U called the University of Miami, whose name was Santana Moss, he was the same height, and he was a first rounder, and no one ever said anything about his height. And so I mention all that to say, I'm not manufacturing that it was taken away things or slighted. I was slighted. And to the point of where my former president of the team is still saying, we only drafted you as a punt returner, and I am the all-time receiver for the organization. And he still put me in the category of, well, we didn't really think you were going to be what you are today. So I'm not like holding on to it and manufacturing it. It's not a chip. It's I was in a three-legged race, and I was three-legged, but all the other people had four legs. And I was expected to do the impossible. I've done it. And then now people are saying I'm manufacturing some of the things that people told me to my face. And so I'm just trying to I'm shaking it off and trying to be a duck and smiling and laughing and really enjoying just kind of doing some of the silly stuff that I get to do now. And one of those is to come back home, come to LA and be on a show that's well respected by a guy that I've been watching talk about sports for my whole life of playing sports. Everybody wants to be on SportsSpin or be on this, be on that. And I've had the opportunity to be and integrate my life and our lives together and be on that stage. And it's been pretty darn cool for a screw up from LA.
Yeah, you get the last laugh though, Steve. People say all that things about you. Like, you're laughing last now.
Yeah, I'm not laughing a little bit because I got to explain myself all the time. I do give off the and these are my words, not anybody else's words. I do give off the angry black guy face, I do. So I'm working on it, smiling more.
Look at that smile right there.
It's actually pretty good. All the dental work I've had done. So I need to show that thing off. Brush my teeth this morning.